Sheila, that loss of $7.69 a share, I know you weren't anticipating, nobody was, but you kind of knew these charges were out there. What do you think when you hear the level of charges, know it's something that had to be done at some time? What do you take away?
I put it in the bucket, Becky, of everything Boeing wants to forget about 2021. And those charges weren't in our numbers, but they were somewhat expected. Boeing basically hasn't delivered a 787 for the last 15 months. They only delivered 14 in 2021. We had expected 84 to start the year. So that's why they're taking those charges. It's one of the aircraft that they've had trouble delivering, along with the MAX, who I think, although they reiterated their guidance of going up to 31 a month on production in 2022, we're a little bit more skeptical on that.
Part of the problem, obviously, is China not giving the clearance yet to some of those aircraft. The other problem's got to be just airlines themselves are in so much trouble with the huge declines in business with COVID. What does it take to turn that around? And where do things stand with China?
Sure. So the 737 MAX is a narrow-body aircraft used for domestic travel. So domestic is actually what we're seeing trends is most airlines are anticipating domestic at 100% of 2019 levels, if not better. But what we've seen with the MAX so far is that Boeing has been delivering to U.S., Europe, and Latin America is comprising 94% of deliveries thus far, but they're only 44% of the backlog. So China's missing, which is 20% of the backlog, and Asia-Pac is even greater at 40%. So given their zero COVID policies, they just haven't seen the travel demand as much as the rest of the world, and they're not taking in the aircraft, of course. So some of that is the China trade. And it's convenient as well that their traffic hasn't picked up as much.
The charges definitely impacted the loss per share, much greater than anticipated. But revenue for the last quarter was light, too. Is that a concern, or is this something where, because of everything you just said, you can write off this quarter and look to what happens this year?
I think we have to look forward to 2022 and 2023 and beyond. We had massive free cash flow losses in 2021. Although they did generate some positive free cash flow in the fourth quarter, we have a big turn, about a $10 billion swing. So we have $6 billion of free cash flow generated for 2022 and another $10 billion in 2023. And that's as Boeing finally unwinds this inventory of the 737 MAX that they have sitting and the 787. So some of our big assumptions to make Boeing work in 2022 is really one, MAX delivers to China and the rest of Asia Pacific, and then 787. We're assuming deliveries resume and their issues with the FAA are sorted by the April timeframe. But without those two things, I think the stock's going to, kind of stay grounded.
Hey, Sheila, it's Phil. I have a question for you. When do you start getting nervous that there may not be an order from China coming anytime soon? And at what point do you look at your models for future production plans and say, we can't see them increasing as much as we originally thought unless we see an order from China for the MAX, let's say within the next 9 months, a year, year and a half? At what point do you get nervous as an investor about China and the lack of orders?
So I'm not so worried about orders. The backlog is pretty good. I'm worried about aircraft intake. So we have this neat company that we use, military video equipment called Camgen, that we track how many 737 fuselages Boeing is actually building. And one thing we found is Boeing is building at a faster rate than airlines are actually taking delivery. So we don't want another situation where we have a MAX inventory buildup and we have 370 aircraft still sitting on the runway not taken. So in terms of the point I get nervous is probably around April if the 787s don't start delivering and 737 solution with the MAX.